Hello, everyone, and happy New Year's Eve. Eve. I've titled today's talk on the crumbling edge of the new year. Because, well, just like in the Fool in the Tarot card, stepping out into over a cliff with his eyes still held high to the sun. And we know that that what awaits him is a cosmic adventure. So let's try to look at things that way. 25 years ago, I was teaching twice a month at down in the San Diego area. It was Encinitas at the time. My good friend, Dr. Art Rosengarten, had a regular, I guess it was a combination therapy session and that more or less specialized in teaching professional counselors, psychologists, how to use tarot cards as an adjunct to their practice, and he called it the Tarot Circle, and it was held on Tuesdays, and so he invited me down just sort of once to teach sort of the aspects of Kabbalah and magic as they go with tarot. And we had such fun that for quite a while after that, I drove down on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night for a while. And we called it the Order of Tuesday Night. Or, yeah. And it was, we called it town meetings, the Order Tuesday. Okay. But anyway, town meetings. And on New Year's, for the upcoming millennium, which is 1999, and we're coming up on the millennium, I prepared a booklet for everybody with color pictures and stuff, and I composed an oracular poem for every tarot card, all 22 tarot cards, to greet the coming age. Okay, and the tarot card oracle was intended as not as a prediction per se of what's going to happen to you but something for each individual to look for that would be a catalyst to their growth, their spiritual growth in the coming age. And I did a version of it in everything's going to segue into everything else this morning. I did a version of that, what I called the New Year's Eve Tarot, in the Book of Ordinary Oracles. But before the Book of Ordinary Oracles came out in 2005. Okay, but we're talking about Christmas or New Year's Eve 1999 going into the new millennium. And I must have had a lot of time on my hands. Actually, I had a very good job where they didn't know what the fuck I did at the job, and I just used their office machinery. But I could only keep that up for 9 years before I figured out a way. Actually, I did a lot of work. Okay, but not that much. Okay. Anyway, I turned each of those 22 poems into cards, like tarot cards. Okay. And in the booklet, there I actually had beautiful color reproductions of uh, the colored Rider-Waite deck. Okay. Uh, but I also made one of these for my publisher, one of these for art, I believe, and I think I've only got the third one myself. And here's what it looks like. Arubraha La Jotio Millennium Mania, celebrating the end of 2,000 years of Christendom. And there's the two M's for the year 2000. And it even has tokens for a third millennium. Do I have anything? It's the same thing on the other side. But they're beautiful little things. Now, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Okay. I'm going to actually talk about that particular chapter in the Book of Ordinary Oracles that eventually manifested 5 years later. But I thought I would share with you what these cards look like. I made the box myself, okay? I'm not really smart, okay? And I'm not really, it took me a long time to figure out how to make the form of this, I'm sure I could have just Googled something somewhere and found a form, but anyway, here's what they look like. All the back of the cards look like this, December 31st, 1999. Okay, and they can be read reverse because it says exactly the same thing on one side or another, okay? And here's just what the plain cards look like. The bad see bad, the good see good. Ignorance, the greatest evil. The ignorant just look at God and see no one but the devil. Temptation is the catalyst. The devil's advice is sage. Transmute a vice, and you'll be transformed to greet the coming age. Now I'll go through all of them tomorrow. I did the 22 trumps and the aces. And if you would get the ace of discs, here's an example of that. The ace of discs, the physical plane, is what you think is real. It's real like rocks. It's real like pain. What you see, hear, taste, and feel. Property is the catalyst. The ace of discs advice is sage. By money, you'll be transformed to greet the coming age. So you sort of get the drift of that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But to tell you the truth, I had just run across this in my little treasure chest of tarot memorabilia just day before yesterday. So I haven't seen it in 25 years. Okay. Eventually, that became, like I said, a chapter in the Book of Ordinary Oracles. Okay, then I call it New Year's Eve Tarot. I sort of changed the last line to greet the coming year. Okay, the priestess's card is clear to greet the coming year. Okay. And the way that the ritual is, at stroke of midnight, close thine eyes and dream and wish and fantasize what thou wouldst most sincerely prize this coming year, then visualize. Now pick a card and thou shalt see a catalyst that is the key to things that will transformeth thee, if thou wouldst heed its wise decree. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. This is the oracular time of year. Usually I have a lot of tarot clients that want a yearly reading. And, I do that over the telephone, or I do it on the little Facebook live chat thing here, or Skype or something. This year, for some reason, everyone seems scared to think about the future, and I don't freaking blame them. But anyway, yeah, if you had intended to book your New Year's Eve reading, the time slots are rare at the moment. What I also ran across, thinking of this and getting ready for tomorrow, I found the 2005 speech I gave at the International New Age Trade Show, INATS. And it was in Denver that year. And this book had just come out. Okay. And I mentioned this briefly a couple of weeks ago. They had a big luncheon with everybody. No, it's thousands, okay, of vendors and of publishers and everything. They all come together, but on one day they have a huge group luncheon, and so it's it's not only just part of a group here while other stuff's going on. It's the big event, and so they have their most celebrated authors, or that year it was 4 very celebrated authors of the day, and there's sort of a little. They wanted an MC. Okay, so I guess everybody knew I was a ham, and they asked me to MC the thing, and that I could plug my new book. Not only that, but everybody's banquet table, on everybody's chair was a copy of the Book of Ordinary Oracles. Cost my publisher a pretty penny. But I found my talk, okay, and it's not much of a talk, because I spent a lot of time researching who I was introducing, okay, so and I'm not going to share all of that with you, but in just the couple minutes we've got this morning, and I'm happy to say that I'm still Facebook friends with all these people, including Aline of New Leaf Distributing at the time. And I talk to him all the time still on Facebook, these 20 years later. Here you go. Let me begin by saying how happy I am to be part of New Leaf's historic celebration. So New Leaf Distributing picked up the tab for this thing. Happy not only because it gives me this wonderful opportunity to shamelessly promote my newest book, and that I always held it up. Okay. And at first, everybody thought, oh, look, how cheeky is that? You know, he's holding up his. But I did it all the time. And I say, oh, did I mention I have a new book? Okay, you've got it too. You know, it was so over the top. It started to get good. Okay. Let me begin by saying how happy okay, not only because it gives me the opportunity to shamelessly promote my newest book, but because I'm profoundly mindful of what a privilege it is to be asked to introduce tonight's luminary authors. Now, I'm just a simple country metaphysician. And it's not at all a case of false modesty when I confess that the stature of tonight's lineup makes me feel sort of like the fourth wise man whose gift was a honey-baked ham. Now, you've heard that line a million times, okay? If you've gone to any of my speeches, it's my classic opening. But these folks were hearing it for the first time, so it worked. Now that I think of it, ham is exactly the word Judith and Ginger used when they invited me to be here tonight. Judith Hawkins and Ginger from New Leaf. And they're still Facebook friends, too. For as old as I am, I've been in the book writing business for nearly 15 years. And for those 15 years, New Leaf has been one of the foremost distributors of my wares. Thank you guys so much for keeping me on your shelves. For the most part, I write stuff that's a little on the esoteric and spooky side, magic and tarot and Kabbalah and such. I write about these things because they're subjects I enjoy and know quite a bit about. My newest book, did I tell you I have a new book? My newest book, however, is a little different. I hope you all have one in your gift bag. It's called The Book of Ordinary Oracles, and my publisher and I are both convinced that lots of people are going to buy my book, perhaps even some people I don't know personally. The Book of Ordinary Oracles shows you how to make yourself into a bona fide fortune teller just by using stuff you've got laying around the house. Coins, chopsticks, Scrabble tiles, even your television remote. I call that one the couch potato oracle. Actually, the Book of Ordinary Oracles is the ideal book because after they buy it, your customers don't even have to read it. Well, I'm only half kidding. The book is designed to be an oracle itself. Just ask your question, close your eyes, and open it at random. We've put 212, see that black area there? We put 212 oracular answers on the margin of every page, sort of like a huge magic 8-ball. Now, just before I was introduced, I asked the Book of Ordinary Oracles, how will I do tonight at the New Leaf dinner? I randomly flipped the book open to page 171, and the oracle answered, "It will feel so good when it stops." Well, hopefully it'll feel good before it stops also. Anyway, I hope you enjoy the Book of Ordinary Oracles. Did I tell you I have a new book? And you'll put stacks of them right up front by the cash register. Okay, and then I introduced Dick Sutphin, okay? And I'll just, he had #1 bestseller out at the time. Like me, our first guest was raised in Nebraska and moved to California. I don't know about him, but for me, California felt so good when Nebraska stopped. I'm my best audience. Okay. Uh, okay. He's a hypnotherapist. He's Sedona, Arizona. Okay. Soul Agreements was the book that he was plugging that year. And I introduced Dick Septon. Okay. Then I introduced Sandra Ray, okay, who was a wonderful Hawaiian mystic. Okay. They talked about her. And Marianne Williamson wrote about her book, Pele's Wish. Really cool stuff. So she's truly, I was the biggest putz on that stage. Okay. Then Dan Millman, okay, The Peaceful Warrior, Journeys of Socrates was his newest book. Martin Buber praised him to high heaven. Let's see, I took, I'm telling you all of this because I received one of those direct communications from the pages of the novel written by our next guest. I took Dan Millman's newest book with me on a recent trip to London and Oslo. It's called The Journeys of Socrates. While I waited at the gate to board a plane in Los Angeles, I was suffering from a nasty case of traveler's anxiety about what might be in store for me during my month abroad. To calm my nerves, I cracked open Dan's book, and my eyes fell on the opening epigram. It was a quote from Martin Buber. And like magic, it handed me in so many words one of those direct communications from the divine consciousness to my soul. Quote, every journey has a secret destination of which the traveler is unaware. And that's what I'm going to leave you with today. I went ahead and introduced Dan Millman, who is just, he did a handstand on the grand piano on the stage. And boy, I'm glad no one had to follow him. Okay, he was just great. Anyway, and you know, over the years, despite the big build-up and the premiere at the INETs and everything else, still the Book of Ordinary Oracles, it's still in print, okay, but it's not a big seller for some reason, because it looks so cutesy, okay, and it is cutesy in a way, and it's got it's got the I Ching of Milo and anyway, if you don't have it and you want to do something nice, did I tell you I've got a book? And I tell you, okay, that I'm almost sure that if you have this book, you'd also like to give it to a goofy friend of yours. So I'm saying right now, it might be wise for you to buy 2 of them. One to give away. Or you could get just a case of them and put them by the front door, and when people come to visit, as they leave, give them a copy. Until the real New Year's Eve tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Screenshot.